I mentioned outcome resistance, but there's also something
Hmm.
called process resistance. There is
Yeah.
no magic button.
Yeah.
And a patient with anxiety is going to have to do something they don't want to do in order to be cured. A patient with depression is going to have to do something they don't want to do. There is no magic button in order to be cured. And so we negotiate those things. Also, I negotiate at the very first interaction with the patient. For example, process resistance for depression has to do with doing psychotherapy homework. That's what the depressed patient is going to have to do that they're not going to want to do to
Hmm.
get better.
Hmm.
Exposure is what the anxious patient is going to have to do that they're not going to want to do in order to get better. And so I negotiate that with the patient. And again, it has to be done paradoxically.
Mm.
For
Okay.
example, a young man came to me with crippling shyness. He was a handsome guy. He was about 31 years old, but he hadn't had a date in over 10 years.
Mm.
Well, how can a guy like this, be unable to get a date? Well, his problem was he sweated profusely,
Hmm.
and he had this great shame about his sweating, and he would put on multiple deodorants and chemicals and pads in his armpits and chemicals on his face, but still,
Okay.
this was the summer in Philadelphia, and he looked like a
Yeah.
sprinkler system.
It's a losing battle. Okay.
Yeah, and so he said, is there any hope for me? And I said, so would you like me to show you how to change your love life from rags to riches?
Uh-huh.
And he said, oh, I don't know if that would be possible, but it would be wonderful, Dr. Burns, if you could do that. And I said, oh, well, I could do that, but I don't know if you're willing to pay the price. He
Hmm.
says, what, isn't $100 an hour enough? What are you talking about? And I says, well, it's not money. I would ask you to confront your fear, to do something that's going to freak you out. I might even ask you to do something called shame attacking exercises. Do something bizarre in public to get over your fear of making a fool of yourself.
Hmm.
And if you're willing to do that, it's almost impossible for the treatment to fail. And if you're not willing to do that, it's almost impossible for the treatment to be successful. Well, I don't think and so you see, so let me know, if I accept you, would you be willing to do what I ask you to do?
Hmm.
And we also call this sitting with open hands, because if the patient says, no, I'm not ready to do that, then we say, I can't accept you for treatment on this. Maybe we could work on something else.